Welcome back to HLS Crypto. My name is Dan. Let me move this out the way. So, Jasmy holders, we need to talk. Today, we're going to be taking a closer look at what is going on with Jasmy, its Jasmy chain / swap migration, and if it's still bullish. Just for people who are maybe new to Jasmy or not familiar with it, we'll give you a quick overview from this post here, which I think simplifies things slightly. If you're interested in Jasmy, I'll be happy to explain the project to you more simply. Jasmy is designed to revolutionize the way data is managed and utilized in the digital world. The project is built with the aim of establishing a decentralized platform where data is controlled, utilized, and shared hand in hand with individuals being users, but instead of being controlled by big corporations. If you're wondering why I'm dressed like the Michelin Man today, it's very cold here in Britain, and I am not putting my heating on in October. In simple terms, consider this. When you use the web, you create a lot of data. That might be what you're searching, what you're buying, where you're going, etc. But right now, big companies are the ones who mostly end up collecting, controlling, and using this data. They profit from it, while you, the user, do not really get much in return other than the services that these platforms provide. Jasmy wants to change this by handing control back to the individual user. It applies the principles of blockchain and AI technology to ensure the security and privacy of data. The key idea is that each user can take control of their own data, choose what they want to share, and if they consider sharing their data, they could get compensation in form of tokens. Think of it as a sort of data democracy where the power resides with the individual rather than the centralized corporations. The Jasmy token is a cryptocurrency that plays an integral role in this ecosystem, acting as a bridge and incentive for users who engage and share their data. I hope this has made Jasmy project a bit more understandable to you. And another thing as well, I noticed that a few different YouTubers who have sold their Jasmy are getting quite a bit of hate regarding that. I think that might be slightly misplaced because at least these people are telling you what they're doing as opposed to consistently shilling something. So I think it is important to try and take what people's opinions are 6 months ago and they're slightly different now, then that's okay. At least they're informing you along the way, which I think is kind of important. So I'm not sure that the hate directed at some of these guys and girls is justified. Quickly on to Crypto Bastard, which I think is a great name. Lots of confusion going on with Jasmy. Talk of migrating Jasmy over to Jasmy chain. This could potentially set the stage for them to add a new supply of coins into circulation, which could have dire consequences on the price and render my chart useless. Now, I touch on TA a little. I'm not massively into believing how TA is the be all and end all. I don't think it is. This looks like it could potentially bearish, and then you go on to someone here called Neo Xtrix at Bania A17. If you go back through this account, you'll see a lot of very bullish sentiment. It's a very bullish account. Applix official press release in 2022. Jasmy adopted its multi-cloud storage solution, Nutrix Cloud, for its Jasmy personal data locker service. Nutrix Cloud is a multi-cloud storage solution that can be used to store large data. It's compatible with major cloud computing providers such as Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud Platform, and also specified that both Applix and Jasmy will share their technical and technological knowledge mutually, which is good. That's a good thing that they're going to be sharing that. But this is recent, so this is new. This was an interview. It was in Japanese, so I've attempted to use Google Translate, but it might not always read as good as you want it to. But what I do want to look at is what you can do in a bear market, and this is from Hara, so obviously very high up in Jasmy. It's true that bear market continues and the situation is tough, but the market has not stopped and technological innovation is constantly advancing. I think it's a good time to learn and research, and particularly we have more time than ever to gain insight into new protocols and programs and explore potential opportunities in the market. Many topics were discussed at Token 2049, as this year's trends are real-world assets, safe trading materials based on underlying assets, growth potential linked to mature markets, and ZK. Zello, I think it's an anonymous authentication technology based on knowledge. We believe that by properly analyzing and adopting new technology, we can bring continued value to projects, even in bear markets. First of all, when it comes to assets in the real world, stablecoins are the biggest topic, and many countries are tightening regulations and issues are becoming clearer. We recently announced our entry into the stablecoin market in Japan, which requires high regulations. In order to run a stablecoin project in Japan, the underlying assets must be legally linked so that users can use and operate them safely, but operators must have a net assets of 100 million yen or more on an ongoing basis. High safety regulations are in place, such as requirements for, we are aware that there are many companies around the world, including our company, and we're making careful preparations. Now, Something that occurred to me, which made me slightly fearful in a way, but something that might have occurred to me is: are they looking to make Jasmy a stablecoin? Because if that's the case, then it's that wouldn't make it an investment then, because stablecoins obviously tend to stay at one very linear price, doesn't really change that much. Now, I was also thinking, because I'm really bullish behind the idea of data democracy. I really like the concept of getting the data locked up and then being able to utilize your data. But then I thought, well, are some data or is some data worth more than other data? So I was thinking, maybe if you're a more affluent person, is your data worth more to these companies, particularly advertisers, who can get you to spend more money than people who are less affluent? So there's a possibility there that the data could be more expensive on one side and less expensive on the other. And then also, does Jasmy then have to be a stable coin in order to keep a consistent rate for you to sell your data at? That's just a thought. There's nothing to confirm that. That's just something that I'm thinking. Could that be the case? I don't think it is, but it is an option. It is something that I thought about. We think it's important when thinking about real world assets in the concept of market values of stocks. In mature stock markets, there are several ways of thinking about the market value of stocks, but the main ones are the sellable price, the usage price, and the potential price that takes into account future excess earning power. We believe that the appeal of tokenizing real world assets lies in the possibility of applying this stock market concept to the token world. If it's possible to attach a price basis that has been safely operated to a token and also attach a future value to the token, this should lead to a safe market based on objective value. This is something I've actually been talking about since the beginning of writing the white paper, but I think we need to continue to consider it, disseminate information, and continue to provide evidence. As I talked about in the previous AMA, there are 3 real-world assets that can be converted into tokens that I'm particularly focused on, which is energy, human skills, and data. We believe that these assets are particularly relevant in terms of the idea of use value and saleable value, and we are likely to lead to token value. Now, this is where it comes to us. It's about layer 2. Why did Jasmy decide to create a blockchain on layer 2 this time? Jasmy Lab is currently launching Jasmy Layer 2. The initiative aims to bring liquidity from the EVM network and the Jasmy project and expand its market. Jasmy chain uses Ethereum's consensus mechanism to avoid excessive centralization and high transaction fees. Although ERC20 tend to have, from my experience, the highest transaction fees, but we believe that by deploying layer 2 based on OP Stack, Jasmy Chain has achieved compatibility with the most layer 2 protocols and has potential to attract more projects and users. Until now, Jasmy has been developing specialized Internet of Things platforms with the goal of democratizing data, and now they're expanding this goal throughout layer 2 by managing and storing data based on Jasmy's decentralized ID and converting it into value. Users will recognize the important meaning of their own identity through data. With Jasmy Chain, we aim to become the choice not only for existing Jasmy users, but also for Web 2 companies, and become a pioneering project originating from Japan as a bridge between Web 2 and Web 3. And in addition, Jasmy Lab is currently seeking VC and business investment partners for capital and business alliances in order to develop a new layer 2 chain. It is only project in Japan listed on Coinbase and Binance, and the project team set up by Sony executives include 14 Sony members, collaborates with many listed companies, and is a development team made up mainly of Japanese people to create high-quality projects. If you're interested, please feel free to contact via our website or DM on Twitter. Now, okay, so there's a couple of things here. I'm very bullish on the fact that they're with Sony. I've said in the past, I absolutely love Sony products. I think Sony are one of the best technological companies for things like that. I've got a Sony telly, a Sony soundbar, Sony PlayStation, but it is more of an ornament. I don't use it, but it is bullish. I like that part of it. But then the bit here that it's seeking VC and business investment. Now, this can be bullish or it can be bearish. Now, from the bearish side of that, does that mean that some of the rumors are true, that maybe they're starting to get low on funds, and then every time you see Jasmy pump and then you see the big sell-off, are they basically collecting that money? Are they basically taking a dump on the investor? So there's that avenue that it could be. I'm not saying it is, but it's a possibility. But then on the other side, do they need to get more capital in to then go and do more things with their roadmap, with Jasmy Chain, with Jasmy itself? My concern also would be that, are they going to release a secondary token on Jasmy Chain? Is Jasmy Chain going to have its own token? If it is, then what does that mean to the current Jasmy token, the current Jasmy holders? Or is it going to be a straight one-for-one swap? And then even in that case, does that mean they're going to have maybe 100 billion tokens as opposed to 50? There's a few issues that don't sit perfectly with me. And until we get some like a real concrete information, I think this is an err on the side of caution. And if you're just about to start your Jasmy journey, it might be worth thinking about whether you want to do that right now. I'm already in Jasmy, and I'll explain that in just a moment. But it does make you think and make you consider these things. And I think it's something that you have to have. Because I made a video a few days ago, didn't I, talking about how not to panic and don't give up, and how there can be FUD in the marketplace. But sometimes there's news in the marketplace, and I think sometimes genuine bona fide news is kind of a better way to judge things off than FUD. But that being said, we'll look at the price. So it's currently at 0.003. Its market cap is down to $147 million. Now, I'll tell you where I am on Jasmy. I got my average. What was my average buying price for Jasmy? 0.0063. So I'm currently 51% down on my Jasmy bags. Like 51%, over half of my Jasmy investment is no longer there. So that is an issue. I'm not going to be selling my Jasmy at this stage. I'm not going to be doing that. And the reason why is because I still think that I can get above water as a minimum expectation. So I still think that can just double in price from here, and then I'd get my money back at least. Another thing to consider as well is that Jasmy is a portion of my portfolio. It's not the biggest portion, and it's not the whole of my portfolio. So as we've said before many times on a lot of videos, is never be all in on one project. So if you are all in on Jasmy, then yeah, your level of fear will be far higher than people who are not all in on Jasmy, and that's understandable. That's human nature. But it may be worth looking to diversify your portfolio as opposed to being all in on Jasmy. I think still that we could easily see 3 cents, which is like a 10x. Do I think we'll see 30 cents? Well, it's going to need a market cap of what? 14 billion? I'm not so sure unless we get some fantastic news and some real concrete evidence about what Jasmy are trying to do. I've said this before. If you look at the actual chart, this is the daily, so it's down. I'm not overly concerned about day to day, because I think when we get to the bull market, you'll see that be completely different. But it's max chart. Again, you can see this in two ways. You can see it as opportunity, or you can see it as, oh shit, panic, sell, right? And this is fine. Whichever one you decide to do, it has to be your own courage, your own convictions. You don't have to say whatever any YouTuber says, whatever any Twitter expert says, whatever anyone says to you. You have to take control of whether you want to keep Jasmy or not. I'm keeping mine. I'm 51.4% down, and I'll continue to hold it for now. If it does drop even more considerably than that, then for me, there'd probably be no point even trying to sell it then, because I think most of the damage would already be done. But this price does not look great. This chart does not look great. It doesn't, and that's facts. It's market cap as well, which we'll have a look at. Because obviously when it first launched, it was launched quite high, and then during the bull, the market cap, it was high. It's dropped down, and it has had a bit of a recovery, but it's continuing to go down again now from its recovery. Am I selling? As I've said, no. Should you? That's entirely up to yourselves. You've got to make your own decision. But this does concern me. Some of this stuff does concern me. But I also still see some bullish elements, which I'm happy with. But overall, I think we need some statements. I think we need a proper detailed AMA where the community can ask questions. I think the community needs to be able to ask, at least 15 probing questions to Hara and the team, and then given based on them answers. And if we consider them answers sufficient as to then go whether we want to add more or then ultimately sell our bags, and that's going to be the decision we have to be made. I think we do need to see some clear guides on what exactly they're going to be doing with Jasmy Chain. We need to know, are they going to be launching more tokens? We need to know, are they going to make it a stable coin? There's a lot of questions that need to be answered, and I don't believe they've been answered at this stage. So for me, that's where I'm at. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you can. That's always appreciated. I'm wishing you all a very great day wherever you are in the world. Have a great day. Have a great evening. And as always, we'll see you tomorrow. Take it easy. Goodbye.